Hello, my name is Dr. Leo Trezon, and I'm going to show you how to complete your take-home lactulose hydrogen breath test. This is a simple, really easy test that you could do at home, and it should help me determine if you have a condition called small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, or SIBO. You will get a kit like this to take home. Feel free to follow along with me as I explain it to you. It's really easy to do. Before you begin, the most important thing is to read the instructions completely and choose a day that you could do the test. In general, I like doing it on Saturdays because you're uninterrupted and you're not working. You could certainly do it during the weekday too. Even though you could do other things during this time, like work and talk and be on the phone, you should avoid eating, drinking, sleeping, exercising, and smoking. For sure 1 hour before and also during the duration of the test. The day before the test, you will be on a modified diet. So I'd like for you to not eat certain foods that are high in fiber or sugar. And that includes stuff like grains, beans, dairy like milk or cheese, starches, fruits, and veggies. And also try not to do juices that have fruits and veggies in it. The things that I recommend that you actually eat include chicken, fish, turkey, white rice, broth, eggs, white bread, and salt and pepper if you need to, and cooking oil if you need to. And obviously if you're allergic to those things, don't eat those things. If you are uncertain if something is going to affect the test, it's better to just avoid it, or give me a call if you're confused. My number is 310-652-4472. I recommend doing the test when you wake up in the morning, like at 7 a.m., and finishing the test at 10 a.m. If that's the case, your last meal should be at 7 p.m. on the night before. After 7 p.m., you could drink water, but try not to eat anything. You'll need certain supplies, okay? And in general, here are the supplies, and I want to go over it with you. This is the breath test kit that you'll go home with, or we'll ship it to you, okay? I want you to open up the box that's inside, and you're gonna see two instruction sheets. One that looks like this, front and back, and one that looks like this, just on the front, okay? There's also what we call a sampling device that collects the breath. This is the sampling device, okay? And you also have 10 test tubes, 5 and 5 for a total of 10. And then you have labels that go onto the test tube, so I know which breath goes in which tube. And then you have bubble wrap paper, and you have 2 of them. 5 test tubes go back in here when you're done, and 5 go back in here when you're done. And then you have the substrate solution, which in this case is called lactulose. For other breath tests that we do, such as the fructose breath test, or the lactose breath test, or the sucrose breath test, the material or the substrate is different. This one is called lactulose, and this is the right one for bacterial overgrowth checking. You also need a cup and something to stir with. Okay, so here's a straw. You could also use a spoon. And you also need a pen to write stuff down on the labels. And you'll also need some water too, okay? So I want you to now start doing, you also need something to collect time with, so like a timer or a stopwatch, so that you'll remember to come back every 20 minutes. When you're ready to start the test, the first thing to do is write your information on the test. So on these 10 labels, you would write the date, the sample number, your name, and you'll check off the word SIBO right here, okay? And then you'll do that for all 10 labels. The one thing I don't want you to do yet is just put the time, because your time might change in case you forget something by accident or something like that. So do everything but the exact time, okay? Next, it's time to make the substrate drink. So I want you to put the contents of this lactulose into this cup and then add water to it, about 8 ounces, which is about a regular cup. Then I want you to stir it, but don't drink it yet, okay? We'll need that later. Okay. In total, you will give 10 breath samples, each 20 minutes apart. The substrate solution will be drank immediately after the first breath sample. Because the first breath sample is at 7 o'clock, the substrate is drank at 7:01. Each time you take a sample breath, you will use the blue sampling device to collect it, okay? You will blow into the bag, and then that will inflate the bag, okay? And then there's an open, there's a plastic portion, okay? And this is where the test tube goes into, okay? So, for example, the test tube should be inserted with the stopper end first, this end, not this end, okay? And it goes into here, okay? And there is a gray needle inside that's very sharp, okay? You can't really, unless you put your finger in here, you could cut yourself, but try not to do that. Just put it in the test tube, okay? So this goes in here, and then it punctures the test tube stopper, and then the breath gets collected in here, okay? When giving a breath sample, you will breathe in and exhale into the clear end of the sampling device. The blue balloon will inflate, and as you continue to exhale, you insert the tube all the way so that the stopper is punctured. Okay, so you hold it in there for 1 to 2 seconds, and then you take it out, and then you stop exhaling. You keep the bag inflated. Do not stop inhaling until after you remove the test tube. In other words, keep the bag inflated by exhaling continuously as you insert, hold, and remove the test tube. It will look like this. That's it. Again. There's really only one way to mess this up, and this would be the wrong way to do it. I.e., you really should be breathing into it as you're collecting the breath. Okay, now you're ready to take your first breath samples. There's a few things to keep in mind. You really do not need to inhale too deeply. You don't need to do that. You inhale normally and exhale normally. It helps to position the test tube near the needle so that you are ready to push in when needed, i.e. you're not struggling to find it because of some depth perception issue. When exhaling, make sure that your lips form a complete seal around the mouthpiece. You will not be able to see or feel your breath as it enters the tube. It doesn't have color or any other factor to it that you could see it. After taking the sample, I want you to write the exact time that you took it onto here, but you'll pretty much know what that time was if you're sticking to the schedule. Okay. Then you've already pre-labeled your test tubes most likely, so you just write on here what time it was. Then after that 7 a.m. first breath, I want you to do breath number 2. Then I want you to drink the drink that's in here, okay? And then you're done for about 20 minutes. You go and do other stuff, okay? And then you come back at 7:20, and now you're gonna do test tube number 2. And you're done. I'm gonna mark the time that I did that, and I put that away. Okay. Then you're done until test tube number 3, which is at 7:40. test tube number 4 at 8 o'clock, test tube number 5 at 8:20, test tube number 6 at 8:40, test tube number 7 at 9 a.m., test tube number 8 at 9:20, test tube number 9 at 9:40, and the last test tube number 10 at 10 a.m. Okay, that's the schedule. After you have completed the test, you will have 10 test tubes ready to go. And each breath, the breaths have been collected in the test tube and it's vacuum sealed so it can't come out. Now it's time to put the test tubes back into the bubble wrap, and we'll put all 10 into, or we'll put 5, and it doesn't really matter in which order you do it. You just put the 5 in here, and then there's this adhesive tape that goes over it, and then you seal it like that, okay, so it doesn't fly around inside the box, okay? And then you'll do the other 5 test tubes in the second bubble wrap paper, okay? Then you place both of those into the box, okay? And then you are ready to ship it back or drop it off at our office. And that's it. So you're done. Congratulations. You've done the lactulose hydrogen breath test for detection of small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. If you have any questions, please give us a call at 310-652-4472.